Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/InGeneral. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hello, welcome to episode 72 of the InGeneral podcast. My name's Jack, and I'm joined with Alex, Ryan, Assis, and Chris. What's up, guys?
Hello!
Yay!
What's up?
It is insane that the five of us are here. The Jurassic 5 are here
Super insane.
on one podcast. How long's it been, Assis?
Doesn't matter how long it's been because we have a special podcast for one reason and one reason only, not being because it's after the road trip or because we have all five of us. It's because our two favorite Brits of all time are in the exact same room, but different cameras, which is strange to me.
That's right, that's right. We video pod now because obviously we're really vain. But me and Alex today, we're at Frontier Developments at their studios playing Jurassic World Evolution. And now we're in a hotel room drinking copious amounts of alcohol and recording a podcast with our American friends. How are you guys?
Awesome.
How dare you? I'm Canadian. How dare you? I'm offended by
Yeah,
this.
we do have a Canadian.
He's like fake America.
No, you mean you're more Canadian than American. It doesn't matter. That's it.
What?
I'm actually pretty hipster. I'm an LA boy now. Yeah.
Yeah, you're LA.
Right. Ryan, tell us how you've been since you've left us. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, he left us.
Yeah, I did. I did leave early, but doing really well. Such an epic trip. Missed out on the road trip, but miss you boys a lot.
Ryan, you would have yelled at a lot of us, I think. You would have been very upset with
Yeah.
Chris the most because he was doing some very dangerous. He climbed a rock. He climbed a rock and he got stuck
on a cliff.
Yeah, I saw that little hobbitses climbing the rock. I'd have maybe joined him. Maybe not.
You would have been up there with me. Let's be real.
Yeah, I would have.
Hey, you know what? You guys all let me explore a cave by myself, and I just up and alley-ooped up inside of it, and
you couldn't get your way down that little hole again, could you?
I couldn't find the cave once I was up on top of the mountain. I couldn't find the way back to you guys, so we had to go. But we all met up at the same place. But I was disappointed. I thought you guys were following me. I turned around, and you guys are just like down there like, Chris!
Well, to be fair, Jack and I tried to follow you, but we're not successful. So we did a cooler path. We crossed like a little river thing over a log. Super unstable, by the way. A lot of fun.
That was, so where we were there, that was Salmon Creek Falls, which is the end of the road currently for the Big Sur Drive. So that coast road is actually closed because of landslides last year, and because of the weather, it kind of took out the road. But that's a cool place to kind of stop and then hike, right? That was a great place.
Our first trail was not a trail, it turned out.
No, it was just cliff.
I just ended up like hiking up a sheer cliff.
You were like, "Come on, guys, come on!" And we were like, "I mean, it's pretty steep."
It's a good thing there was a rope up there. I'm not sure how I would have got down. I mean, I definitely would have got down. I'm not sure how safely I would have got down.
We were tumbled down the cliff.
I mean, it was like a sheer. As soon as I was up there, I'm like, "Oh wow, this is like completely vertical, isn't it?"
That was a really cool part actually. But I think that road trip, one of the highlights for me was driving on the way to Yosemite, kind of deciding what we were going to listen to, and then just landing on listening to the Lost World score. And by the end of the Lost World, we were quoting the movie word for word the whole way.
You would.
Pretty much.
You would.
That's love right there. That's love for the Lost World.
I should mention that I know the quotes too, my friends. I know the quotes. I was right there with them. So put that. That's on record. That's on record now. I know the quotes.
More than JP3?
I think Assis likes The Lost World a lot more than Jurassic Park 3.
Well, that's not true. But every time I do see you boys, I like The Lost World a touch bit more every time.
Yeah, he loves it. He definitely loves it.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we doing here, boys? What's the game plan here? What just happened?
We
missed a lot of stuff though. We should probably
start
off with
a very, very successful Jurassic Park 25th anniversary event in Hollywood. I mean, that was a fantastic event. Am I right?
No,
100%. It was.
You're super right.
It was a ton of fun.
It was. So at the panel, sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that. I mean, in terms of scale and just epicness, like how I can't even wrap my brain around and process like what happened over the past weekend. Essentially, everything from the panels to everybody that was there. Like you're talking about legends that we've idolized or that we've grown up with in our face that we're able to talk to and talk candidly with. Couldn't ask for a more monumental weekend, and just super happy to be able to enjoy it with you guys and the fans. And
Ron's getting emotional.
I know. I wish I could have go back in time and enjoy it, but holy crap. Such an epic weekend. It's just hard to really process everything. So much happened. Look, my brain is fried right now. So much happened. What did you guys think of the experience? I mean, there were times that I was just in sheer awe, like kind of bewildered that all of this was happening.
And it all happened so quickly as well. Before we knew it, it was Sunday night and we were heading back to the post Drake's and the Airbnb. It was like so much happened. I was still trying to process it. I've never even been to the Universal Park, so that was a first. That was a first for me. Riding the Jurassic Park ride, that was a first for me. I met so many people that I've been friends with online for over 10 years at that event. I saw Jeff Goldblum on stage. I saw Laura Dern. I saw Dean Cundy. I saw Dennis Muren. I saw people I've idolized since I was a kid, and I'm still processing it to this day. The Jurassic Park 25th event brought so many fans together, and they really put on a show. See, the props, dude, all the original props. I mean, they had the best prop from the franchise, right? The Jurassic Park 3 phone. Cue somebody else. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember how the tune goes. How's it go? I can't remember.
Sorry,
That's
hold
Kirby
on.
Paint.
You're trying to remember how the tune goes.
That's a
Van
copyright strike.
Nuys. That's the Van Nuys theme tune.
Throwback.
That's the song we were singing on the way to Van Nuys.
Van Nuys?
Van
I just want to chime in and say, I really kind of want to reflect what everyone else was saying, but it was really incredible meeting everybody from online, from all the different communities, all the people that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. And honestly, a lot of the people that we don't necessarily interact with on a day-to-day basis that we met and got to know them very well. I think it was just really cool meeting so many people and honestly losing track of so many people. There were just so many things to do and so many people to meet, and it just kind of was overwhelming, but in like the best possible way. The event was too short.
Agreed, it was, and 3 days wasn't enough. They could have done another panel, and it was a shame actually. Even though it was, I have no complaints about the event except this one. It was a shame that on the Sunday we couldn't also go till midnight because it got to 9 o'clock and we were like, now we have to go home, and I don't want to go home.
Yeah,
we got that party going. We got a nice group of people, and we went to chit chat after that.
Yeah,
Ryan, you were there.
Yeah, we enjoyed their Hilton hotel.
Oh,
we threw the after party.
Yeah, we did. Outpost boys, Universal
in somebody else's hotel.
Yeah, it wasn't ours.
No, but it would have been cool if they would have like maybe rented like a restaurant or something out, like, and it could have been like an extra ticket, like not too much money, just like $10 for cover charge or something like that for like an after party. Just something. But it would have been too many people, but it still would have been cool.
I'm sure other groups had their own after party, but it was nice that everybody that we met along the way and stuff came back, and we had a few drinks with them, and then we went back to Van Nuys.
Yeah, nice.
And, continued our little party. Van Nuys. I'd live in Van Nuys.
Been nice.
Well, I guess before we keep talking about the event, because we can literally go on for like 4 podcasts each day, probably one each day. We should probably mention that we did miss quite a bit of news while we're gone and doing our trip. So we should probably do some news, guys. What do you think about that, huh? Some news.
Hit it.
I suppose.
News sound segue.
Well, this is kind of related to what we just talked about. Unfortunately, the Jurassic Park ride will be rest in peace. It will be extinct, a la the dinosaurs. It is turning into the Jurassic World ride September 3rd. And won't be open until next year, 2019.
Lame.
I
mean, it's
Ryan
cool.
rode the ride for the first time. Jack rode it for the first time. I was with them on their first time.
Yep.
How does this make you two feel specifically? Because you guys literally rode it for the first time, and now it's gone forever.
No, it's actually well sad. I mean, like I said, I've never ridden that before, and I mean, it's biased to say, but it was the favorite ride I went on while we were in the Universal Park.
Well.
And I think maybe that has something to do with the fact that it's the only one that doesn't use some form of screen or 3D or anything. It just is pure ride, right? Everything is physical, everything is real. And it's such a cool concept. I mean, I know it must be 20 years old.
Yeah.
Opened in 96, so yeah 22
like
years
that,
old.
Yeah, but it's still such a cool concept. You're on a Jurassic Park river adventure, you're going on this ride, and then, oh no, something goes wrong, and you swing off into the park, and there's animatronics. I mean, imagine if they updated the very same ride to modern day animatronics and things like that without changing it to Jurassic World, but just made it modern. You had dinosaurs that jumped and landed on the side of the. It would just be fantastic. It really would. But I'm intrigued by what they're going to do to it. I really am.
Yeah, I agree. I was really surprised by like what they had at Hollywood compared to the Universal lot. What they had in Universal wasn't even, or sorry, what they had in Hollywood wasn't even working half the time. Some of them were supposed to have raptors. The Jeep that came down over the cliff was already in the water. But the drop at the end, that surprised me. And I was really, really surprised at like how much I've seen it on TV, I've seen it through the internet, I've seen it through documentaries, but I was not anticipating the drop. And I think it's written all over our faces when the camera is there. It's
surprised you, that's for sure.
Yeah, no.
I lost my hat.
I did lose my hat. I don't know if anybody knew this, but I lost my hat on the ride. My gift to JP.
Agreed.
But yeah, it was awesome. And I agree. It was also, biasly my favorite for all of those reasons. But the drop.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, there's a reason we didn't buy the first few pictures. Because especially me.
Wait. We bought the first one, I think.
I think
my hands in my face.
Maybe. All I remember from the first time I went down was, am I supposed to be flying out of my seat right now?
Yeah.
That was my feeling about it.
Well, because all you have is the bar.
That kind of freaked me out.
You have just the bar, and it's the only thing holding you in within this contraption, and you hit a negative G, and all you can do is grab onto like
I love it.
the nearest thing. I mean,
yeah,
that's half the surprise. It's nuts, but holy cow, what a fun ride, and we went on it over.
Speaking of flying out, you lost your hat.
Oh, I don't know if you guys.
Rest in peace, Van's hat. Rest in peace.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I lost my hat.
Rip in peace.
It's my gift again.
The ride.
You're welcome, JP.
A gift. The cruel
tribute.
It's a good gift. It's a great gift.
Yeah,
it's a good hat.
I couldn't think of anything better, really. But I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with the ride next. Chris has kind of mentioned this. Again, I'll let Chris talk about this.
So, yeah, it's definitely, like, that ride is very iconic, and I love it, and it's Jurassic Park, and it has a lot of, not only just moments from Jurassic Park, but it kind of expands the universe of Jurassic Park if it were open itself. And it's really cool just being able to see the art style of that. But it's in the desperate need of a makeover. It needs a redo, because a lot of the animatronics are dated and old. But, it's a bit of a bummer that it's going to be Jurassic World. I mean, I like Jurassic World, but Jurassic Park is something special. The ride is in a desperate need of a makeover, and it is getting one. It's Jurassic World themed, which is kind of cool, but I kind of like the Jurassic Park theme a little bit more. I think most fans would agree. It's a little bit more iconic. But they have an opportunity to kind of keep both alive. So while you're riding the ride, it's going to follow the same basic track. And you're going to get knocked off the track again. I'm presuming this time it's going to be by the Mosasaurus. But instead of like going into the raptor paddock or whatever, it will end up going into the ruins of Jurassic Park. So we're going to go through the ruined Jurassic Park gates.
That would be dope.
And kind of get to go through the ruined Jurassic Park buildings. So that way you kind of get the best of both worlds. I don't know if that's the true way they're going to do it, but it's definitely an opportunity that I hope that they explore. And it's a really cool way to get Jurassic Park and Jurassic World in the same ride.
I agree. I think that would be really cool, because obviously now with the branding, everything is Jurassic World. Even, Jurassic World Evolution is the Jurassic World logo Evolution. Everything's being branded the same way. So they obviously have to brand the ride in that way. They have to sell as many tickets as they can. So I understand that it has to do that, but to completely neglect the old park and everything that they've already got that kind of exists for that ride that they could utilize, like the Jeep, they could utilize that, just turn it on its
top.
Yeah, just turn it on its top, and then you got the underside of a Jeep. I think it could still work, and I think venturing into the old park is still a way to get that nostalgia, to make all the old people that are our generation that are riding the ride super excited about it. And I think it's a really cool concept, Chris. So good luck with it. I hope it works out, and I'll support it.
I'm starting building it next week. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna hijack the ride. We got this.
I guess
Outpost.
that does kind of lead on to the subject of an article that Alex put up.
Yes.
A couple of days ago about what might be happening in Orlando, because they didn't announce that the Orlando ride would change. Alex, do you want to run us through maybe the differences with the Orlando park? Because I didn't realize there was such a difference between the Hollywood ride and the Orlando ride, and then potentially talk about the permits that they've.
Okay, yeah. So the biggest difference really between Orlando and Hollywood is that Orlando was an entire island dedicated to Jurassic Park. So it's not just one ride and a cafe and a gift shop. It's a whole themed area. You've got the centerpiece, the Discovery Center, the key attraction, the River Adventure. There's a kids play area, Camp Jurassic, an aerial coaster, formerly some walkthrough attractions. There's a raptor encounter just like Hollywood. And in recent years, it's sort of been encroached upon by other attractions, Potter on one side and King Kong on the other, but it still stands as one of the largest, most complete Jurassic Park areas that Universal has. And I know we're all very hopeful that if Hollywood's got this re-theme coming, that Orlando will stay Jurassic Park to give the two parks a slightly different flavour. Now on that vein. The Universal have finally, or not finally, but have filed, very discreetly I might add, a demolition permit for a large area at their Islands of Adventure Park. And from what we've been told, it's for the Triceratops Encounter, which is an attraction that closed in 2005, and it's opened a couple times since, just in busy periods. But I don't think it's been open for a good 6 years now.
Which is really sad. I think there's some walkthroughs of it on YouTube that you can see, and it's the perfect Jurassic Park attraction. You actually get to interact and interact with is it they scientists? They kind of animal
vets.
Veterinarians and stuff. It's
I got to do it actually back when I was younger, like right before it closed.
Because it closed. What year did it close?
So much fun.
2005.
It's so, and they've just let it sit, which just makes no sense to me.
That's exactly the thing. It sat exactly as it was. So up until at least 2012, everything was still there, including the animatronic Triceratops, these big, huge, expensive things. Rumours say that they have been removed since, but the rest of the attraction, is still left be, all the ride buildings, or show buildings rather. So now that they're putting in this permit to knock it down really signifies that they're planning something new, perhaps a new attraction. At this point, it's early days, it's anyone's guess, but I believe the demolition is due to start next month.
Which I really wanted to, after visiting the Hollywood Park for the first time, I really wanted to try and get into the Orlando Park and see if we could get an exclusive Triceratops thing and some sort of ability to say goodbye to it, yeah. But it doesn't.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Alex, have you been following the inside rumors of what's going to be added to the park?
Yes and no. I've seen a lot of people hinting towards it's going to follow the Japan pattern with the flying dinosaur. But given that they're currently building a coaster 200 meters away, in another land, I feel like it's really unlikely that they would build two roller coasters at the same time.
So, I don't know if this is still in the workings. I know it was what was almost there before, but they were originally going to do a wooden roller coaster. Do you remember the Amber Mine wooden roller coaster? And it was going to have some dark ride elements where it was going to have some animatronics, and then it's kind of just going to be like a fun, family-friendly wooden roller coaster by the end of it. I think that there's still a lot of strong potential in there. And I was honestly, although it's not a wooden roller coaster, my mind started kind of making it too big. But imagine if they did something like Expedition Everest. Is that what it's called?
That would be cool, yeah, like an Animal Kingdom. That's a great
attraction. So where they build the big mountains and then the coaster goes inside of it. And so let's say it starts out where it's like, oh, we're going to take you through our amber mines. And then lava starts happening. And then you have to escape the lava and the roller coaster goes nuts. And then there's dinosaur animatronics running around. Well, not running, but there's dinosaur animatronics running at the coaster. And it could be a bit of a thrill ride, but still a wooden coaster, family coaster that incorporates dark ride elements. And that way it's themed and not just a giant looming coaster. It could look like a minecart track going all over
See, that would incorporate both original classic Jurassic and Fallen Kingdoms.
Exactly.
Opening scene. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Ryan, thoughts on this sad story?
I'm kind of indifferent about it, but it would be cool to see both. I would like to see the incorporation.
I think
sorry,
it's
I don't
good
have more than
because
that.
we can still keep the Jurassic Park ride alive in Orlando by this new ride bringing in the Jurassic World elements. That way we have the best of both worlds. Ideally, in my head, that's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there's still some buzz that it might become Jurassic World themed at Orlando. and the river ride is going to get a makeover. That is definitely happening. It's getting new animatronics. I don't know. People think that they might wait until the new ride opens and then the river ride in Orlando gets the makeover. But it's definitely going to happen at some point.
You kind of expect that they're going to change the Discovery Center to match the
Innovation Center.
Innovation Center.
No.
Well, to be fair, that's fine because the Discovery Center in Orlando is not that nice, anyways.
But from the outside,
the outside, yeah, but the inside's like it has like a skeleton on the main floor, some bottom stuff there. It has like a gift shop and a restaurant, right? It's all it is. It's not that much in there, so maybe we can add some more stuff with the renovation.
Well,
there's
some
nursery
rumors
from,
that they
like,
might put
the
a
first
dark
film where
ride.
You can see a baby raptor hatch, and I mean that's a very cool thing, but it could
is,
definitely
but it's
do
like
with a modern refurb.
Exactly. You can add more stuff if you like just renovate that entire building. You can add some new things, some features, some this, that, you know.
Oh, for sure. Well, imagine if they kept the outside as this like the classic Jurassic Park Visitor Center, but the inside they actually built a ride. Like there's a dark ride. It starts out like the beginning of Jurassic Park where it's a little bit tame. And then maybe something goes wrong. Like you go to see dinosaurs, and then maybe it could be like Stitch's Great Escape. Is that what it is? Where like the shoulder bars like jump down, and it feels like dinosaurs are bouncing around on your shoulders and stuff like that. There's a lot of opportunity there. I just hope that they really. Jurassic has kind of got the short end of the stick when it comes to innovation with the parks, and I really do hope that they kind of jump back into the cutting edge formula and not go carnival games, which they're adding to the parks that are really ugly. Like make it cool, make it Jurassic Park, and make it something special. Whether or not people love Jurassic Park or it's just somewhere that they're going to go in the park, make it blow their minds, and make it iconic. And don't use screens in the rides, please. Maybe holograms, but
screens have their place.
Jurassic Park is both animatronics and CGI. So we've got the River Adventure, which if they updated it could have really great animatronics. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to have an attraction that works the other side of the magic as well.
I guess my issue is I'm not really a big fan of screen rides. Like, it's not necessarily a practical versus animation type of thing. But it's just like screen rides don't really work for me. However, I do like the hologram rides, the hologram effects that they have. Where it looks like where there's like a hologram walking around on a real stage, a hologram. It's using a screen in a very clever way. I'd be totally up for that, where it looks like there's a practical set and like a CG raptor runs by and interacts a little bit. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I just want to see some really cool, innovative things that make us feel like dinosaurs are part of our world. And we're inside of Jurassic Park.
Well, luckily, we shouldn't probably worry too much about Jurassic World getting the short end of the stick, because a new piece of news, Universal has spent $185 million on advertising Fallen Kingdom.
It was a complete accident. They lost their card, so if you see it, let someone know.
Give it to us first. Go ahead, Chris.
It was us. We were just buying ourselves toys. That's literally us just buying ourselves toys. No, just to be clear, though, it's not necessarily traditional spending. It's advertising deals, so they didn't necessarily spend the money in all those cases because there's a lot of returns. It's like a partnership with Mattel or a partnership with Dairy Queen. It's not necessarily spent because there's money returned initially through their partners. But it is a $185 million investment of sorts.
Which is a lot more than what they did for Jurassic World. Almost double. More than double.
More than what they did for The Last Jedi.
And Infinity War. So that just shows you that Universal is going all out on Jurassic, regardless if it's with partners or just general advertising. The point is, Universal is in, and they're banking on this movie real hard. So Jurassic World is back,
Never left.
Thoughts on the...
Jurassic Park is back.
Jurassic Park is gonna come back after we reboot the
Jurassic
series.
Park World.
There's not much else to say about the advertising,
Earth.
right? Advertising's been all over the place. I'm sure we've all seen a bunch of it, billboards, trailers.
There's a giant T-Rex down by the River Thames today.
Exactly right. It's for the Jurassic World. So, just going into Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom since we're doing it. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has premiered in Spain, and as you'd expect, make sure you guys take all the reactions with a grain of salt, considering it's fan reactions, not really critic reactions, and they're
Mostly
actually seeing it. So there's going to be that first hype of being the first people to ever see it. So,
of course, there's a slight difference there because when you watch a movie surrounded by the talent and the people that created it, and if you're Spanish and it's a Spanish-born director that's made it, there is going to be a little bit of real pride behind that movie, and it's going to be difficult for you to say, "Oh, it's crap."
Leave it.
To kind of sum that up is premieres, it's a little bit hard to go off of reactions from a premiere because it's a giant party. A lot of times you're VIP guests by the filmmakers themselves or by the filmmakers' friends. And it's just a whole lot of fun. You can't help but love every second of it because it's like a party. It's not just going to see a movie. It's
General
like a party.
experience, yeah.
So it's a whole experience.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that those opinions aren't valid, but I wouldn't necessarily use them to define the film. Because if you went by movie premieres,
Suicide Squad,
first reactions, you would think that every movie that came out is the best movie that's ever come out.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
So when it comes to premieres, it's like, hey, cool, have fun with the buzz, but wait until like
Take it with a pinch of
general
salt.
real screenings happen. Which the embargo drops June 5th for reviews.
that's gonna be a very fun day. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
A day before the film comes out in theaters.
Chris and Jack, you guys are the big movie guys. Isn't that usually a kind of a scary sign?
Yeah. It probably means that they're not confident in the reviews. However, the one difference in this case is the United States release is in June 22nd,
Right.
so maybe they just wanted to keep the review gap. Like, if they released reviews in May and the movie's not out till June 22nd in the US, it might have been kind of funky. So maybe they just want to kind of keep it all staggered in June.
Right.
So maybe it's not a bad sign in this case, and it's just sort of a marketing strategy.
Hopefully,
Yeah, you never know at this point. I guess the only way we can really find out is
By
when we
waiting?
get those first reviews.
When do we
Yeah,
see the
we gotta
movie
wait.
and see the reviews?
I hope it's good. I really do.
It'll be good.
I think we're pretty optimistic on this one. I think the
Especially
trailers
if it
have been
looks
good. TV spots have been looking good. There's some good stuff.
Bayona's a good filmmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, not made a bad movie yet. The crew's there, so it has all the elements.
The trailers have been hit and miss, but the first 5 minutes were incredible.
We should probably talk about this.
like,
We've all
So
seen
we
the
all
5
saw
minutes
that.
now.
We all saw that.
yeah, we
Ryan,
went crazy about it.
first 5 minutes, first opening scene.
Start this off, baby.
I mean, you've got the silence. You've got the mystery. You've got the eerie sounds. You've got no, it was crazy how much we talked about this. How much we've seen in the trailers and how much you don't see in the first 5 minutes, or how much you don't see that spread out throughout the 5 minutes or 7 minutes of Bayona's film. It does this thing where he's able to draw out and suspend the simplest forms of filmmaking, but make them into something that like leaves you on the edge of your seat. And we aren't kidding. Like, the hype is still here, even a while after. Like, it's one of the best opening scenes, if not one of the best scenes. It's such a Jurassic Park sequence, and the whole events leading up to it's like a beautiful crescendo. I cannot even explain it better than that. Like, it's like an orchestra that just like pulls something together. It's not even the music, because there's hardly any Giacchino if he's even in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, so the trailers are full of these big epic moments. Obviously, that's how movie blockbusters are marketed now. Just throw us the big shit. But the opening scene contains all those crazy, like, big, climatic, epic shots. But it pulls it together in a way, like Ryan said, Bayona directs it in a way that really builds the tension so much to the point where you want those big shots. It's calling for it.
But when it comes to the big shot, it's not even so much what it shows you, but what it doesn't show you. It knows when to pull back, and it's all the more effective because you get some really great scenes and you get to see some really great things, but at the same time, it doesn't quite overindulge in itself. And the trailers have a lot of those moments where you're kind of going like, well, that sort of looks silly. But if it's anything like the opening 5 minutes, it might just be something incredible.
The best part,
Or it might be silly.
right? The best part of 5 minutes is how little you actually see the dinosaurs. It's what you don't see that's
Exactly.
scary. Like the T-Rex, you see it for what, maybe less than a second of time. Like it's just
And
flashes.
she's beautiful. Is she not?
But what you
It's
see
so
is
Jurassic Park.
amazing.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, like the way that the lightning flashes on her face. We talked about this in the pod, but like the scene where it just like briefly flashes on her face, and you see a side of her where her head looks so original JP. It's kind of weird how un-Jurassic World T-Rex Rexy she looks. Like, she looks quickly menacing, and it is such a badass scene where you just like the lightning flashes and the trees are moving before
she
that.
looks brilliant.
Yeah, and the trees are moving,
does.
flashes, and all of a sudden there she is. You're like, oh god, and like nobody knows that she's there, but you know she's there.
Assis,
Yes, sir.
what if one word for that opening scene for you as well, somebody that really was critical of Jurassic World.
I mean, the only word I can think of and it came to my mind instantly was perfect. I think it's the best opening in the entire series.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
I certainly hope so. I mean, the opening scene, we all see. The thing is, it was, so for context, for those who weren't aware, the Jurassic Park 25th event also showed Jurassic Park, obviously, as you'd expect, in the IMAX and in all the other cinemas they had there. And as far as Alex found out, it was the new 4K print that they played,
Apparently.
as far as we're aware. But after that, they start it by showing you firstly remastered versions of the original Jurassic Park trailers, including the first teaser. You know, do the line.
The first discovery. Was...
Yeah, that one. That trailer, that teaser trailer, that was really cool. That was remastered and looked fantastic.
You know what the weirdest thing about that is they remastered those trailers and those not TV spots, but like those teasers, and they remastered them, but they're not even on the new Blu-ray release. There's literally no new content on the new Blu-ray release. It is such like a bummer to get the new Blu-ray release
that
without
4K
without anything.
It's a 4K disc with the movie on it. That's it, and you get the Blu-ray with all the original Blu-ray extras. There's nothing new. It's a shame.
Nothing to celebrate Jurassic Park's 25th anniversary. Not even art prints for Jurassic Park. It has some really. There's one edition that has some really cool Fallen Kingdom art prints. But it is sort of anticlimactic for Jurassic Park's 25th anniversary to not have anything new, either new unseen footage, new kind of featurettes with people talking about anything. It's just
they haven't really advertised it either.
I hardly know about it.
And we didn't even know it was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of came out. They don't even have screenshots of the transfer out. You need to rely on our fans to do that.
And we didn't know that we sat and watched it in a cinema until after we got out and someone said, "Hey, there's something funky about this cut." So a couple of the changes, when they did the 2011, the 3D
2013.
Yep.
Yes, that one. They went in and did a few little tweaks here, very George Lucas of them. They took out the wires on the Dilophosaur frill. And there's a plant pot when the car flips over and the T-Rex.
No, it's a film light.
Oh, film light. Sorry,
it's a
I think it's a film light
stand,
next to a tree pot or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's weird.
So in the new version, the new 4K, the Dilophosaur wires, wow, are still gone, but the plant pot and the studio light are back. But apparently it's still the 7.1 mix that Gary Rydstrom did in 2011.
Still the same sound
which
mix,
really is the best the sound's ever sounded. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, but I kind of, the original point was they show you the remastered teaser, and then they show you the opening scene of Fallen Kingdom, and after that we were all sitting there and we were like, can any of you watch Jurassic Park right now, or shall we go out and talk about this? And we ran out. We were like, I can't. Yeah. We got to talk about this. We got to talk right now. And we just stood in the lobby for like 10, 20 minutes discussing what we saw, tweeting about it, because obviously, it's 2018, you got to tweet. And yeah, we were super pumped, especially because us, as a group of people, as a unit, we don't all agree on Jurassic World as a sequel. Not all of us like it. Some of us like certain elements of it and stuff. So Fallen Kingdom, going into it, we are all a little bit worried about how it's going to be. And we all came out of that opening scene and went, well, they did it. They nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's perfect. I loved every second of that intro.
Yeah, we had to process it.
I think it was really interesting how we all sort of reacted to it in a very, very similar way, in such like a beautiful, we're just like, oh my god, and again, spoilers here, but our giddy moment when we heard the Dilophosaurus, the little Dilophosaurus cameo, it's just like, yeah.
So yeah, there you go, guys.
So good.
To be fair, it's really hard to notice because Alex and I didn't hear it the first time. Ryan did.
No, I didn't.
Alex and I were like, what? But it is there. We heard it in the IMAX. It's there. You hear the little...
Myself and Ryan just made eye contact. We're like, Dilophosaurus!
That was so
It was
cool.
such a good moment.
The T-Rex hunting a Dilophosaurus. That's so cool.
But no, I mean, I think what's really cool about those first 5 minutes also is they feel like they could be the climax of another Jurassic Park movie, and yet they don't feel weird as the opening of a film.
It's like a short film almost.
It is its own story. It really is its own story. In fact, that feels like it could have been a movie on its own.
Yep.
Like The Hunt for the Remains of the Indominus Rex on the ruined Isla Nublar. That probably could have been a movie. Asset retrieval.
Even if the rest of the
after
movie is
everything goes to
garbage,
hell.
I'm gonna somehow edit the first 5 minutes and like put it on loop for 2.5 hours and just watch that forever. That's all I need. It's the best Jurassic Park thing I've ever seen since the first movie. It's just perfect. Like, I don't know.
It really is.
I don't know what else to say.
It plays the J.A. Bayona's strengths entirely, and it's like, okay, this is J.A. Bayona Jurassic Park, and it's Jurassic Park. If the rest of the movie is like this, we have a winner on our hands, and it's going to be something iconic.
So with only less than 2 weeks now to go until Fallen Kingdom's release in the UK, the marketing is going crazy now. I mean, they are dropping TV spot after TV spot. There's an entire B-roll footage there. It's ridiculous. And in that B-roll, there was a little something released, a little something that was teased, a little something in that behind the scenes, in that B-roll.
John Parker Hammond.
Mr. John Parker Hammond.
Parker?
Unfortunately, not the return of his character, because according to the Mizrahi website, John Parker Hammond did die in 97.
Seconds after.
Literally minutes after The Lost World.
Credits rolled.
Credits rolled. Then John Hammond passed away.
Random fact: the original ending of Lost World was Hammond's funeral.
Also, another fun fact. What's the middle name again?
Parker Hammond.
Huh, I didn't know
although
that.
Parker?
I think it is different in the novel.
It's Alfred in the novel, but
Alfred
it's
in
Parker
the
in
novel.
the film.
Parker in the
Oh.
movies.
Interesting.
Which is weird. But yeah, so I think, obviously, spoilers at this point, he doesn't return, but there is a lovely, a gorgeous,
Stunning.
it is actually, from the screenshot we've seen, it's pretty goddamn, it looks great. It's a portrait of John Parker Hammond in Lockwood's manor.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely him.
Claire Deering is staring up at it, going, who is that?
Parker.
Oh,
Who is
who-
that man?
The middle name is Parker, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if it says it on the thing, because she's standing in front of it, but
Interesting.
yeah.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on the picture? Have you seen this?
I have. Looks great.
You want to
Did
see
you
it?
know about this before we just spoiled it?
I kind of knew about it, but yeah,
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
yeah.
To be fair, it's only a picture of
It's-
somebody
yeah,
that's
it's a
been in the
painting.
movies before. But it is a really
It's a
nice
cool little-
throwback. It's sort of like the Hammond statue in Jurassic World, which
It's
is criminally
better than it.
used.
It's better than it because it actually looks like Richard Attenborough.
Ooh,
Oh,
it's a
so
sick burn,
burn.
Chris. That's a
And it
sick
looks
not
like
even
you might
meant to be
have
a
seen the
burn,
movie
be-
once.
Calling up Jurassic World, we need to take you to the burn unit. Chris just burned you.
got burned.
I mean, I just don't get why that statue doesn't look like him. It looks like, I don't know, it looks weird.
It
I
just
think
looks
it's
like
'cause
a
it doesn't have
generic
hat.
old man.
Yeah. The statue in the Japanese park, I believe it is, looks
The statue,
phenomenal.
that's fantastic.
Isn't he holding a baby raptor or
It's a
something?
Yeah, it's
raptor or
more
a
like an
T-Rex or
animal.
something, but it looks so good.
Well,
It's
guys-
weird because I remember an interview with Colin leading up to Jurassic World where he said that statue of Richard Attenborough, of John Hammond, we see it throughout the movie. We see the different lighting and the different, and I'm like, we saw it once, and then in the background of another shot, I was like, man, they must have cut all the scenes
A
where we see, because
lot.
he said he shot it in a way that it would show you how the movie progresses, kind of thing, you know, different times of the or something like that. I don't know. And then we
It
saw
probably
once.
didn't work in the edit. It probably didn't
Yeah,
work in the edit.
it
It was just probably a bunch
felt
of random
very awkward,
inserts.
but
And it just, I mean, I like the idea, but it just, because scenes weren't incorporated around it, it would have been like a transition scene. Like like the Whomping Willow, Prisoner of Azkaban, but it would have felt out of place in a less whimsical movie.
Well, while we're talking about burning, I guess we should probably talk about the last piece of news that we have on the docket today. It is our favorite cinematographer, John Schwartzman, is coming back to do Jurassic World 3. I'm going to go right to Jack with this, because Jack had probably the most intense, violent reaction to it I've ever seen. Jack, what are your thoughts on this amazing piece of news?
I don't understand the logic behind it. I mean, I completely understand if Colin works really well with him. I get that. But tonally, Oscar Fora makes... I mean, his visuals in Fallen Kingdom, from what we've seen so far, just knock anything John Schwartzman's done out the park. And if we're striving to be one of the best franchises that exists, you know, if we're trying to be on par with Star Wars, then why go back to the person that shot Jurassic World? Which-
Jurassic World is a very bland looking movie, and it managed to make Hawaii look fake and ugly.
And that doesn't, I mean, that comes
Interesting.
from us, that doesn't, but that comes from Hawaiian people who said it doesn't look like Jurassic World was filmed here.
I think a good point here was when JP3 came out, it was noticeable that so many they recreated jungle sets in Los Angeles, and they just looked fake. The lighting was weird. You could tell when they were on location. You could tell when they were in a studio. And then somehow Jurassic World made real world Hawaii look like a soundstage. Especially, I think for me, the stuff towards the end with the InGen guys and Owen and Barry, that really looked like it could have just been filmed on a soundstage.
Well, Ryan, you're a pretty visual guy. You're the resident dad and resident artist of the group. What are your thoughts on this piece of news?
Nothing against Schwartzman, but I agree. I don't think he fits well with Jurassic. I felt Jurassic World was flat. Fora, already, from what I can tell with Fallen Kingdom, looks fantastic, and I think I love the darker tone. But I'm just kind of, Jack kind of said it. I don't get the logic for 3 unless you're going to go with it completely tonally different. And from what I've seen from Schwartzman, I just don't think it works necessarily as well with Jurassic. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what he says, or see what he does, and we'll see what he says. I'd like to see Fora, or maybe at least somebody else come back. I'm just surprised that Schwartzman is coming back, but that's just me. That's my nice way of saying it, I suppose. Definitely didn't yell about it as much as Jack did, but flat. Jurassic World was just flat, and I'm all about them dark tones.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Well, that's what I've discussed it with a few people, and they've said, well, John Schwartzman can change his style, and I said, well,
he
if
hasn't
you've watched any John Schwartzman movies, they all look exactly the same. And for movies like, what's that movie about?
Dinosaurs?
No, the one with
Pearl
Tom
Harbor.
Hanks being that John
Saving
Schwartzman
Mr. Banks.
shot.
Saving Mr. Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
His style suits that movie because it's about big Hollywood studios like running the industry and it just, his cinematography suits that. It doesn't suit Jurassic Park.
To a degree, Jurassic World is about a theme park, and it was supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe it worked the first time.
It would have worked the first time, but depending on what this third film was about, this as it devolves into chaos, perhaps it should have been someone a little bit more erratic, a little bit more edgy, someone who's going to crack the camera off the tripod and go handheld.
For once, that would be nice. I guess we'll see. I mean, we at this point, I think we were all surprised that Colin came back, especially after his interview where he said we're going to get other directors to do the movies. So it will be interesting to see what he's got planned, because obviously he wanted it back, and he wanted it back for a reason, which means he's got something planned.
And Derek Connolly's not coming back, which is very interesting. His long-term writing partner, so he's bringing someone else who has different
Emily.
ideas. So maybe things will be different this time. I don't know. Things can change too. So
Miss Carmichael.
Yeah, So Emily Carmichael, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Pacific
wrote.
Rim 2.
She wrote
Pacific Rim 2.
Pacific Rim 2. Although it's believed that everything she wrote was.
Yeah, she did an early draft supposedly.
Hopefully very early.
So has she written anything else? Has she got like a couple of films under her belt?
It's mostly small stuff, some short films. Nothing major. I think Pacific Rim was like her first big movie. And then
interesting to see, because she was at the Jurassic Park 25th event.
Not that we noticed. We're very sorry. That was rude of us.
Apparently she follows us too. So if you're listening, Emily, we're sorry. You want to join us on the podcast? You can join us if you want.
Yeah, we were standing right next to you.
We'd love to have you on and just pick your brain about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, if you want to hang with a bunch of dudes and talk about Jurassic Park, we'd love to have you on.
Yo, we'd love it, dude. We're cool. We're skaters. We're studies.
Jack, what accent was that?
What part of London or England was that? Well, let us know.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Jack lost his posh accent for a second.
Yeah, we didn't realize it till afterwards when we saw her story and pictures online. We're like, oh, that was Emily. How do you like that?
It would have been nice to chat with her and see what she really thinks about the franchise and ask her if she likes Lost World, because that's the most important thing.
That is a very important question.
Well, you know what's really cool, guys? A break. Oh, hello there. I hear you're a fan of dinosaurs and Jurassic Park. Well, check this out. Audible has got a deal that is perfect for you. Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial for you to check out their great service. Since Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is coming out, go back and listen to the first Jurassic Park novel written by Michael Crichton on audiobook. Or, if you're interested in something brand new, why not go check out Michael Crichton's novel Dragon Teeth? Hey, you might even be interested in something brand new, why not go check out Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg? To download your free audiobook trial today, go to audibletrial.com/ingeneral. Again, that is audibletrial.com/ingeneral for your free audiobook. One more time, why not? audibletrial.com/ingeneral. Thank you, Audible. We love you.
So, I mean, kind of coming back round full circle to Jurassic Park 25th, the event was over 3 weekends.
3 weekends?
That was
Three.
Now that
We're
was
still in Los Angeles, baby.
fantastic. It was across 3 nights, and the celebrations were obviously they incorporated Jurassic Park Motorpool, which we helped get involved. They brought there was 3 vehicles outside the cinema within the City Walk, which was so cool to see. There was 2 Wranglers. One was a bit more off-road. One was to the film, and another was the Ford Explorer in the middle. And outside that, there was maybe 20 Jurassic Park Jeeps lined up in the VIP parking, which was outside the
Front gate.
And there was also a fan favourite. If you've seen a little something called The Lost World, the RV, the trailers were there, thanks to Frank, who has been... he found... So basically, long story short, he found those trailers in the desert, in some sort of... Would you call it like a junkyard kind of... they were abandoned. He managed to sweep them up a couple of years ago, and he's been trying to fix it up, renovate it ever since, with help from the Motorpool and help from various people across California. And he managed to get it to a state where it's driving. He brought it to the event, and I literally cried when I was in there. I didn't cry, but it was an amazing experience to stand inside that. Something that since I was a child, I've admired that movie, and that was my favourite vehicle in it. That was my favourite scene. That was a lot of fun. It really was to be in there. And
it was incredible.
In my head, I was recreating the scene where Kelly sort of slaunders through there and she walks towards the map on the wall. I was like walking through it, like, it's so exciting. It was a real experience to witness that, and it's so much bigger than you think.
I think that kind of sums up the weekend as a whole. How these things that we've seen on the screen for the longest time, all our lives, in fact, we could actually reach out and touch, being able to touch the RV and see. You know, the counters where Ian Malcolm, leaned against and lectured people on chaos.
This was a screen used, by the way. This isn't fan made. This is an actual screen used RV. This is one of the ones that Jeff Goldblum stood in, and I mean, that's pretty crazy in itself, right? That's mad. Oh man, it's a shame because Jeff Goldblum was at the event. It's a shame they couldn't bring him out and be like, "Do you remember
Not
this?"
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been amazing to get a photo shoot with him, like him by himself, like not with fans. Just like if they could have got a cool photo shoot with him in the RV or next to the RV again.
Hang
after all
on, this
these
is going
years.
to be bad. Doing the line, that would be amazing.
Mom is very angry.
Yeah.
You guys all would have had a
also,
heart attack and died if you did that. I'd be.
I literally
Outpost would
would
just
have
be
died.
me.
I mean, I was. I mean, but it's so weird, because we were saying about it. You see this movie, this trailer, this vehicle on the screen, and obviously they're sleeping in it. The characters, if they're there for more than a day, they're sleeping in this RV. But you never see that in the movie because it's irrelevant. But we got to see the actual sort of like living quarters, the beds that they made up for these characters that are still in the RV. It's like 4 beds.
Are there
It's
5
just
people
weird
on the
to
thing?
see.
Though?
It's just
That's strange.
Say again.
Aren't there supposed to be only 5 people? There's 5 people there, right, on the expedition originally.
There
Why are
was
there
only
4
supposed to be
beds?
Sleeping shifts.
Kelly.
Stowaway.
What? Oh,
Kelly's stowed away. She's not supposed to be there.
I thought there was supposed to be 5. I'm dumb.
This
I'm
hasn't
editing
actually
this.
seen the Lost
This is
World
off
or
the
any
record
Jurassic
now.
Park film other than Jurassic Park 3.
But as well as the RV, Barry, who we met, was there with his so Jurassic Mercedes on Instagram. Follow it. He's not had it too long, maybe a year, 2 years,
Something like that.
year
maybe
and a
a year.
half. He bought it it's an ML320. He bought it nice bright silver, and he's been fixing it literally up until the day of the event, and he brought that down, and
It's,
it's a
it looks
screen accurate.
fantastic.
Well, near enough
Almost.
screen accurate.
It's a really uncommon thing. I mean, there are lots of Jeeps, there are a few Ford Explorers. Not many people do the Mercedes, and it looks like he's really trying to do it right. A lot of that was custom, so custom brush guards. I think he said he's planning on doing the roof as well with the observation bubble thingy.
Dome thing that wasn't ever used in the film.
No,
but
exactly.
It's still a cool feature of the vehicles.
And I mean, I think The Lost World is really underrated for how amazing the vehicles were on both sides, the hunters and the gatherers. And that was another cool thing about the event being in Hollywood, because a lot of these vehicles still exist to this day on the backlot, where they've been since filming. I mean, 20 years ago? Which is crazy when you think about it.
We should pool our money and just buy them.
It's funny you should say that. A few years ago, the Humvee that jumps at the beginning of the roundup sequence, the Humvee that jumps the hill, that was on eBay. And that's a really interesting custom vehicle because it had a rig underneath that would flip it over the hill.
So cool.
It literally only did that one scene because as it landed, the suspension completely buckled.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where it sat for ever how long, but it was like 5-6 years ago. It popped up on eBay, wasn't it?
Not even that. Yeah, it was super. It was maybe 2 years ago. I think.
How much was it?
Maybe covered it on Outpost. It was a few grand, I think, a couple of thousand. Very cool though. Yeah, very cool.
Why didn't we buy it?
Because we're broke, Chris.
But it was yeah. So seeing all those Lost World vehicles there, especially, you know, I'm a fan of the first two movies together because it's just how I watched them when I was a kid. So seeing a bunch of JP Jeeps and then seeing the trailers and the Mercedes there, it made the event. 25 years, man. We're still celebrating Jurassic Park to this day, and it's still an ongoing franchise. It's kind of back. It's everywhere, and that's exciting.
I think one of my favourite moments from the first night, which was structured a bit differently to the rest of the event, when we were getting the tram up to the cinema, and when the tour guide pointed out the parking structure that they hung the trailers off when they were filming The Lost World, and my favourite moment wasn't seeing this, but it was seeing how Jack reacted. It was like this childhood glee on his face at seeing something that he was so passionate about. And I think that's what really was great about the event, that all these people that we met were getting to see these things up close for the first time, and just how much joy it brought them.
I think the one thing that we maybe have missed in this podcast is giving a general idea of what was officially at the event from JP25. Do you guys want to kind of know? Okay. So what's really cool about the Jurassic Park 25th anniversary event is it was hosted at Universal Studios Hollywood. So it was an after-hours event, but there was a bleed-over period, so you had about 2 hours of open park time. Like, if you only bought the primary ticket, you can get in there 2 hours before the park closed and explore the whole park. Afterwards, when the park closes, once the event formally started, it became... So it was down to just the lower lot, which is Jurassic Park, The Mummy, Transformers, and a few other things, some stores and shops. But they had an area also, they called it the Activity Center, and they had different, brand partners. So you had Jurassic World Evolution there, which you could play. You had Jurassic Park Danger, the board game, which you could play, and it's a lot of fun. Mondo had a booth, and they were kind of teasing their upcoming game called Jurassic Park The Chaos Gene, which you could not play, but it looks like a lot of fun. It had Jurassic World Alive, which I think you can sort of play with like AR dinosaurs. It had a booth with some random merchandise. It had a Mattel booth, which was awesome. Am I missing? Oh, it had Jurassic Park Pinball, which you could play. And then it had like a photo op and another photo op, and We Were Media. Is that what Ryan's trying to tell me? We Were Media, which you could play.
You could play.
Multi-pass.
No, but it was really cool. It was really cool getting to actually get some FaceTime with some of these brand partners and a lot of the people that are making these games, these toys, and just getting a chance to talk with them and meet them and see a lot of the upcoming items. And then they also had a prop display from the different movies where you could see them and play with them, not play with them, where you could just see them and read about them and take photos of them.
You wanted to play with them.
Yeah, the coolest.
A lot of fun.
The coolest bit was the VR though. Did we talk about the VR?
Oh my god! Jack, we obviously can't talk specifics, but can we talk a little extra about the VR? Can we make a little tease?
Jack,
Jack.
I think we can talk about that, Chris.
Okay, So,
Dude.
Oh my god.
Saw, dude.
and so also the other thing
I'm
they
not
had
even
there
talking to
was
Jack, but
Jurassic
it's like
World
I'm
Blue,
saying
the
Saw.
VR
Oh my
experience,
gosh,
which
that's
was
cool.
absolutely incredible. You can put on the VR goggles and do episode 1 of the experience, and it is really cool. It has Blue, a baby Triceratops, a Pteranodon. It's super immersive, and I think it honestly might be the best thing, the most Jurassic Park thing that's come out since the original movie. And it's like 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long, something like that, but it's a lot of fun. And I really just enjoyed the hell out of it, and it's so incredibly well made. And I hope there's more content like that. And so we all gotta do episode 1. But Jack, do you want to elaborate a little bit more?
So, so luckily, we were able to get a quick little glance at season 2,
Episode 2.
2.
You and I.
Which I think, if
We
you've
can't-
seen
we can't
episode
talk
1,
about it.
it's a perfect follow up to that. It is. I think it takes place kind of moments afterwards. It's not too long after, but it shows the true potential of what VR has to offer, and what the Jurassic World story can do for VR. I think is what it's really showing.
Yeah, we can't talk about what it had, but it was really awesome. It ups the ante. I loved episode 1, and episode 2 really took it up another notch. It's some incredible stuff, and I hope it becomes maybe a regular expansion. Hell, it would be cool to see Jurassic World as an open park through VR experiences, or experience the fall of Jurassic World through VR, like little vignettes, like being on Main Street while the pteranodons attack. And
that'd be cool.
I don't know, there's a lot of potential there. It's a lot of fun, and I could see that being a storytelling method to fill the void between films, to supplement things like the comics, the animated series, which they have not announced, by DreamWorks, Netflix. What up?
How you doing? Ones and twos.
And books like The Evolution of Claire, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to a ton. That's by Tess Sharp, and that's out very soon. And yeah, ones and twos. So as Jurassic Park 25th anniversary celebration came to an end, we were left with a void, wanting a lot more. So here comes my question. If this became a yearly or semi-yearly thing, obviously not the 25th anniversary celebration, but a Jurassic celebration, where would you guys like it to take place? Would you like it to be variable year to year? What would you like to see added to the experience? What would you like to see done different? And what would you like to see most definitely returned?
Are you asking us, or are you asking?
I'm asking all of you.
That's
I'm
a lot
asking
of
all of you.
questions,
So
Chris.
That's a lot
maybe
of questions. Could
that's
you
a lot
repeat
of
them, please?
how beautiful am I?
6
I
out of
give
10.
you a 10.
Okay, no, I heard his questions. I got this right. I think if it alternated,
I think personally. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize.
God
You're in
damn
the
it,
same
Jack.
room. You guys are in the same room. Oh my god.
No, go ahead, buddy.
If it Ryan, wow. If it alternated between the Hollywood park and the Orlando park, maybe not Japan or Singapore, because I feel like the turnout would be quite small.
Touchy, Alex. Touchy.
I don't know. I just don't think you get as many people. I don't know.
It's a more expensive trip, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
For us, not for the Japanese. I mean,
Oh my god.
They can have their own small Jurassic event every other year, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely like to see one at the Orlando park. The Hollywood park was cool because that was where the films were made, at least where the first 3 were made, and the other 2 were produced, I guess.
they were all shot at points in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? We'll run with it.
Oh, it was. It's not wrong.
I think, with regards to what I would change, I would just have a very set order. For me personally, having each night different didn't really work. It kind of threw us off a bit. We didn't know when anything was, or everything seemed to be a bit in flux. So we didn't know where to be or when.
Yeah, I think while they do hand out the timings each night, I guess for some people, if they weren't able to make the entire weekend, they'd love to know ahead of time what they could really try to achieve for, say, the Saturday night, or know ahead of time that if the lineup does change, and if the sort of event timeline changes per night, knowing that I can slip in at 10 p.m. to catch this on Saturday. If some people are just too busy, or if they work I think that's the schedule ahead of time. I think is what we're trying to say would be beneficial. But I agree that the Orlando park would be fantastic, and I guess from our perspective, we could drive from Pittsburgh down to Orlando and have a little Outpost road trip again. That would be
And so
be
Ryan
there.
would join us.
I would.
Yes,
fly
he
there.
would.
Bye, guy, tie guy. Yeah, we worked it out today. It would take 16 hours of non-stop driving, so I think you kind of split that into 3-4 days with stops.
Stop a few
cheap
places.
2-star
I think Hawaii.
roach hotels,
Roachful.
motels.
We should probably mention
we had a few
a
of those
roach
on our road
hotel.
trip.
Rest in peace.
Funny
Roach.
side story. So on our last night, we stayed in Bakersfield, a place I would live and retire in. We we took a 2-star motel because it had a pool and a spa, and we were joined in the pool by a roach.
Rest in peace. He did drown though.
Rip in peace roach, and we all got chlorine poisoning from the spa. So,
That was fun.
Our skin like burned.
It was rubber.
So showering didn't work. Conditioner didn't work. Nothing worked. Took
was
about
honest
4 or
for a
5
good
showers
3 days.
consecutively in an 11-hour flight across the Pacific. Yeah,
You were right with Atlantic.
Atlantic. Yeah. No. Wouldn't recommend.
The guy did open
We
the
left a
pool late
pretty
though.
nasty
So.
review on TripAdvisor.
We should leave him a review. To be fair, we rocked up. We were clearly like 4. How's it going? Like 4 bros and that. And we were like, "You're leaving the pool open, mate." And he was like, "Yeah."
In fairness, the service was great. The pool just burnt our skin off, so...
Yeah, it wasn't. It was. He said I asked him. I was like, "Pool closed at 10." I was like, if we give you a nice smile, would you open it till 10:30? And he was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, shit." And he said, "Well, I'll leave it open till 11." So we got it for the extra hour, and we didn't know what to do with ourselves. It was pure burning of the skin. So
You know what? And the problem is we didn't realize at first. It was like just towards the tail end. We're just kind of like, so is anyone else's skin burning? Yeah, we should get out of here.
we should leave. Is anybody else's skin burning? Oh yes, funny you should say that, Chris. My skin is eroding off.
Now we know why the roach is dead.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That was so funny, but we didn't.
Yeah,
we
it
didn't
does.
even make
Killed us
much
too,
of an
buddy. We
effort to
barely
get the
survived.
roach out. We sort of just swam around
Because
it.
nobody wanted to touch
So
it.
then, so then we like ordered 20 pounds of buffalo wings and just devoured them.
Yeah.
And Chris wiped his dirty hands on my towel.
Did he?
No,
Somebody did.
definitely was not me.
You were sat
I
on it,
promise you
Chris.
that. I sacrificed my towel. I had to pat myself off with my clothes. But
Yeah.
no, but JP 25th, I think that the panels were awesome. I think that they should have been a little bit longer. They should have been maybe had a little bit more. So if they do it again, a little bit longer panels with maybe a little bit more concrete reveals. And if you want
some
surprises,
seats.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, seats. But allow people to have an understanding.
Yeah, seats.
Allow seats.
Seats.
I mean, I think we all agree
Orlando seats.
the panel was great, but the problem with panels these days is as soon as any celebrities get on stage, about 1,000 cell phones shoot up into the air and that's all you can see.
I think allowing fans to have a general idea of what if there's going to be panels and kind of the structure for them in advance would allow them to actually more reasonably make travel plans and plan their night as it went on. Because the surprises were great, but a lot of people felt a little blindsided by it as well, and some people missed out on the content they would have liked. So in the future, I think something a little bit more concrete there. And reveals. It doesn't always have to be the filmmakers. It could be things like, hey, show off the new comic book that's coming out. Surprise people there. Sustain the brand and expand the brand with these because you have a ton of super fans in one place. Now let's celebrate it and let's go to new horizons.
That was beautiful. I think we should do one quick round table and say what our favorite part of the event was. Ryan, would you like to start?
He's out of there.
He's got.
He's
for those of
hightailing.
you who are not watching this in our videocast version, which is basically none of you except us 5, Ryan just rolled away. He's on a chair. He didn't roll into a ball or anything.
I
He
think
just
that was
rolled away
perfect.
on
Oh,
his
he's
chair.
coming back with something.
Oh, he's got a sword.
Kylo Ren.
Oh, wait, no, it's a lightsaber.
None of this is getting cut out because that bit was too good. I'm not cutting this out.
Oh, he's leaving
We
again.
believe Ryan may have had a mental break. Why don't we move on to someone else?
That's fantastic, though.
I went to Ryan first. I saw him take his headphones off and start rolling away. I'm like, Ryan, would you like to start?
If you guys want to talk shit about him, now's the time.
Well, I guess while we wait for Ryan, Jock, what was your favorite part of the event?
I would say it would be meeting all of the fans and meeting all the people I've spoken to online for so long. Meeting them in person is just, it really is. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's amazing to be surrounded by so many like-minded people,
Right.
and also the Lost World RV, and also Jurassic Park the ride, because that was freaking awesome.
Yep. Ryan, welcome back, Ryan.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope, that's all in the podcast, by the way. I'm keeping it in.
All right, Chris. Anyway, Chris, Assis, if you could just, I gotta edit this. All right, Assis, if you, Chris, if you could give us your one-liner on the event, or what was your favorite part?
Wait, is this a real transition here? Are you really asking me?
I'm really asking you, Chris.
Other than all my beautiful buds from Jurassic Outpost.
Buds?
I think you said butts.
Other than, spending my time with you all, which was amazing. It was definitely, like Jack said, meeting everyone else. The fans that we interact with, the people we interact with online, our friends from online, and all the new people we got to meet as well. I think it was a really, really, really special experience, and I cannot understate. I cannot overstate. I can't just. I don't know what I would understate. Yeah. I cannot understate enough of how great the whole thing was and how special it was, and I want to do it again and just.
Good job, Chris. You're doing great.
And scene.
All right, Alex, what was your favorite what was your favorite part, buddy?
My favorite part. Right, my favorite part of the event was pretty much any part that took this big fantastical thing and made it real for me. Because there were a number of moments where it just blew my mind. Meeting all these the people behind the franchise and stuff like that, meeting all the fans, and really getting a sense of what this means to other people. Like, I know what it means to me, but to see what it means to hundreds of other people really just
Yeah.
Ryan, yourself?
Yeah, I like I was saying before, it was watching having that experience in the theater where we were all watching the first 5 minutes of Fallen Kingdom, because we've never experienced a Jurassic film together for the first time, fresh eyes collectively. That was a really cool experience. Also meeting the directors next to Harry Potter World. That was, everybody will have to follow our Twitter and Instagram to find out more about that. But that was epic. But really just being there, meeting the fans, having idols right in front of me that I can touch, talk to, not more touch than talk to. You guys should have seen what happened in behind the scenes. But it was such a surreal experience. It's still hard to process. It's so hard to process. But hanging out with you bros, really, it's always just a good time to be with people who are on such a level that you are with Jurassic Park. Because you don't really experience it. I don't experience it hardly with anybody that I talk to.
Truly. Assis, favorite part, bud?
Well, you guys all nailed it, I think, on the head, but I'm just going to say something a little bit more, I guess, different, I don't know. My favorite part was riding the ride with you guys. Jack's first time, Ryan's first time, and we rode like a couple times in a row. We got soaking wet that last night, just, end that ride with a bang, 3 pictures, 3 rides in a row. Just amazing.
So wet.
Oh, yeah.
So good. We got some great photos from that.
Yeah.
And we're going to get our coverage up over the next couple of weeks. No idea when Assis is going to edit this podcast.
Best of luck with that, bud.
He's got a lot to edit. There's a lot. There's so much.
So much.
There's so much. This Skype call's 2.5 hours. The actual recording's 1 hour 20. Oh, it's a mess. How are you going to do it? Oh, I don't know.
Luckily, I'm a producer extraordinaire, so don't worry about it, baby.
But it really was. It was truly a great event. Universal Pictures put on a true show for all the Jurassic fans out there, and it was an honor to meet you guys. Anybody that was there, it was an honor to meet you, and it was an honor to be there with you guys. The Outpost.
Always.
Let's do it again.
We should.
Orlando.
No.
Thank you so much.
2019.
All parties involved.
Orlando 2019.
Hawaii.
Yeah, Orlando 2019. Yeah, come on. Orlando,
Hawaii.
2019. Make it a hashtag.
Let's go on a cruise.
We can,
together.
how do you make
Let's just
something
get a
a
bunch
hashtag?
of Jurassic
Do you
fans
submit-
on a
Do
cruise.
you submit a form? Where can we make it a hashtag?
Oh,
We could just go to
buddy.
Is there a
Hawaii.
form?
We just go to Hawaii.
Is there an
Yes.
online form?
Damn it, Jack.
Yeah.
I think you have
For
to
sure.
go to the post office. I don't know.
Can submit it as a hashtag and hopefully get it in time for next year.
Well, hopefully. Put the
How
submission in now. We might get it by next year. You're right.
How much do they cost?
Depends.
Hawaii.
Orlando 19.
No.
Oh, there you go. Orlando. Well, you know what? House tour 2019. Jurassic Outpost House tour 2019. Stay tuned for the. Oh yeah, we did vlogs. I forgot about that.
It could be,
we did a
hash-
vlog.
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
be hashtag Jurassic Outpost, Jurassic Park 26, Orlando.
Hawaii.
Jurassic Park 26. Isn't it the Lost World's 20 something next year? 20.
It's
19?
already 20 Aziz.
No, it's 21 this year.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to the episode 72 of the InGeneral podcast.
Bye, guys.
Oh, right.
Podcast.
72.
Stay tuned for all the coverage and content we'll have coming out over the next couple of weeks. I've been joined by Jack, Ryan, Alex, and Chris, and myself, podcast extraordinaire. Thank you so much, guys. We love you.
Peace.
Till next time.
That's time.